want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity. Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
Good day, Madman Mafia.
That's right. I am Kirk M. Samuels.
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
For you.
Hey, and today,
For
gentlemen,
you.
get your notepads out. We got, we got the subject that you want to know about. We're talking about it. We're getting into it.
This is one of those you can't handle the truth. I wonder if we can handle the truth. I don't know, man.
So.
Can you handle the truth?
I hope we got our big boy panties on today. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't know if you can handle the truth, man. I don't know if I can handle the truth. I don't have to handle the truth. Well, I guess I can. No.
Well, you're handling the truth right now. You're handling reality now.
Handling the truth. Today we are talking about what women want. Not too long ago we talked about what men want. Now we're talking about what women want. Primarily, essentially kind of roughly in the today's dating scene, and so obviously neither one of us are women or have been women, which not every man can say that, by the way. But we've never been a woman. And so we brought in some tech support.
Yeah, we got the expert in that house.
Mm-hmm. We got the one and only Miss Danielle Hunt joining us right now. Danielle's coming on, and she is the curator, the brains behind. She's the Oz behind the curtain of the one and only Parker Social kind of. I don't know if we counted a social group, a group of people, a hangout, or whatever it is, but Danielle kind of had a vision. What was it? She's just been a few years by now to start up kind of this concept, and I'm not even going to hijack it. I'm going to let you kind of paint your picture for what the concept is of Parker Social and why you might be even remotely involved in this conversation in terms of what women want. So what is the vision behind Parker Social?
Well, Parker Social was something. Thank you for the nice intro, by the way. You always give an impeccable introduction. Thank you.
That's why we keep around.
Yeah. Parker Social was born like right after 2020 when everything was closing down and we were getting shut up in our homes. And that was making me angry. I didn't like seeing my friends losing their business and people not being able to date and marriages getting destroyed. And so I just tried to fuel all of that and put something together and start a singles events group, which is what became Parker Social. And what we did was I just would throw events for single people, give them a venue to meet. I was not doing any matchmaking. I want to make that clear. I just figure I'll put the place and the time on, and law of attraction, that's your fault. That's not my fault. That'll handle the rest. And so then what we were able to do is have these events, have single people come to a bar or a restaurant, give business to this bar or restaurant. We had sponsors that come in and support us. And we were just able to bring people together during a time right after that time where everybody was kind of shut up and shut out. So it was awesome. And you were both, a really nice part of that. Very, very grateful for both of you. Thank you for the parts that you played with that.
We consider you a friend. We consider you, I consider you a sister, and just like my blood family, you got a little cray in you too, and so you fit right in with my view of the world, and so we love kind of knowing you and be friends with you, and just kind of just partner with you and all those kinds of good things.
Well, and
it was a great time, and anytime, like I say, I always try to, if I'm not doing the work, try to help people who are doing the work, and you're doing the work. You're putting on events and generating opportunities for natural meeting, people to get together, have conversations, do those meetings. So of course, we definitely wanted to help you out. I'm still single. Kirk can't say that. Maybe in the beginning he could have, but it was nice and it was good to get out of the house. Like you said, 2020 kind of made us all fat and lazy. You got to get out of the house, go see people.
we actually had to tell people like, guys, go get your hair cut. Girls, well, the girls are all pretty much on point. They were excited to have a reason to get dressed up and get their hair done and the facials and the new outfits.
Oh, so it's all the guys' fault. I see how it is. Okay.
No, women, we have our other issues, but one of the issues we did deal with that too, because, guys were showing up in sweatpants and that's what we were living in 2020. We all were, really.
Yeah.
So it was just such a neat time, looking back, like, I could have just stayed home and been angry, but I didn't, and I'm happy about that. But we also, played a part in, I felt like we did some healing work too. We, talked about intimacy. We had, Zach with Be Men on, and he actually did a whole thing on intimacy, which was really interesting. And we also Kirk, you addressed, dating do's and don'ts, and of course with your books, which was like a perfect timing and a perfect puzzle piece fit. I don't know. It just seemed like all of our little gifts and stuff all came together and just painted this beautiful picture. And, we all did work through the little issues we'd had. Sometimes it turns into like a big daycare. I got to get ugly sometimes and kick people out. And other times I'm out recruiting and, it's fun. And, sometimes people have an issue that's not, what's the word? They have like a vision for Parker Social, and they think like, no, hold on, that's not what we're doing here. Keeping it light and easy, So anyway, it's been fun, but I really have gotten to know, and right now I'm currently single. I've gotten to know a lot of single people in the community. We've had a couple marriages, a couple engagements, and we have a Parker Social baby who's adorable.
Nice.
I'm very proud of the baby.
Nice. One of the things that was cool, or that is cool, I guess you could say, is that from the very beginning, you've been pretty straight up that it's not a meat market. We're not, it's not even an outcome driven kind of thing. Like you're going to come and, just, it's all about just hooking up and all those other kind of things. And I know one thing, that really kind of lines up with Jason hates online dating with a passion. And so, he's a opponent.
I'm a hater.
So just the idea of people getting together face to face, with no agenda, just in a setting and in an environment and seeing what happens is pretty cool. And so you getting to watch all these things kind of front row and setting the stage and setting the environment. I mean, you've gotten to see almost like the incubation of a lot of different dynamics and a lot of different things in terms of men and women meeting and dating and relating and starting relationships and ending relationships and starting over and all these other kind of things. And so yeah, I mean, I can imagine there's been times where you like, Lord have mercy, let me get out of the way. Other times you probably referee. Other times you're probably, the preschool teacher,
yeah.
On the playground and all that stuff.
I have to literally, at some of these events, people will stand, the guys over here and the girls over, you've seen it. They'll be separated, looking at their phones, and I have to come over and get my introverts and introduce them, or bring an extrovert to an introvert, which I know they hate, but they deep down love. And, so you just got to do the dirty work. I'm taking country dancing lessons over at the Grizzly Rose right now. And there's this thing that they do there, which I love. This guy, his name's Bob. He comes around, and if you don't have a dance partner, he finds you one. Actually, he has another guy. I don't know his name, but he'll find you the guy. And Bob will dance with you until they find you the guy. It's so nice. And I thought, I like this, for Parker Social.
Nice.
So I want to kind of do more of that, But we've been able to make a huge friend group. Everywhere I go, I run into people I know now, which is such a gift to me. It makes my life so much fun, But if you go to these events open-minded, not expecting X, Y, or Z, just go meet people. And I've always said this from day one, bring your best self, have fun, smile, feel good. Try to bring your best game out and just be genuine, authentic, be yourself. You're going to have fun no matter what. You're going to find new people. You're going to see people, and you could potentially find a husband, or a wife, So it's all fun. But I did, to your point, Jason, get on online dating. I don't normally ever do that. I hadn't actually done it in years. And I got on over Thanksgiving for 3 days. I went on Tinder.
Oh, you picked the worst one.
I know. I thought if I'm going to go all the way.
Just go big, go for it, go all the way.
Yeah, it was a little bit horrifying. So, but I did learn. I learned a few things. So I'm grateful for that experience.
Yeah.
Definitely that in-person meeting is the best. When you can exchange energy on eye contact and hear their voice, and there's so much more. It's so much more rich and it's more fulfilling. And you know right away, like, oh, it's a nice guy, but that's not for me. Or, you know, this girl's a little much, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a nice, quick, easy way. You're not texting and doing the phone thing for weeks before you finally go get a coffee. And, you know, I'm just saying the in-person thing is so valuable and it's so overlooked because it's like so old school, you know.
Well, and that's why I helped you out so much as I did, because being an introvert, it was really good to, like, if I helped you do registration, then I got to meet everybody up front with, you know, no hassle, no stress, nothing like that. So I already knew everybody. But to your point, you know, pretty quickly when you meet somebody in person, you get to feel the energy. And of course, nowadays with curated social media and all the AI photos and everything else, like, you have no idea who you're meeting. And I know from my experience, and maybe it was just because my brain was skewed that way, so I was attracting that, but I would get a lot of these where, oh, on paper and on their social media, they look great. And then you meet them in person, you're like, are you the same? Is that who doctored your photos? You know, all these different filters and things. So, you know, just having that experience of being able to see somebody in person. That's why I'm not anti, you know, online dating as a startup, but you want to meet somebody as soon as possible. And we even put that in the book, like, get in person, because you won't know if you even vibe with that person until you see him face to face. And, you know, that energy is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not as much of an online dater hater as Jason, because actually,
don't be.
I actually met my wife online. But to your point, either way, we didn't develop our relationship online. We met and then we connected in person, and, you know, as soon as I walked in the door, she knew.
Really? It's like that, huh?
I mean, that's her version of the story. I mean, that's what she says. I don't know.
I think that version's been doctored up by you a little bit.
A little bit. Y'all know her very well. I'm sure she's watching. She'll throw a comment in there. But so yeah, I mean, so this is kind of setting up the premise, and that's what we're going to get into. And like I said, we had the conversation, you know, kind of not too long ago in terms of what men want, and so we figured we would just open-minded, you know, not cynical at all, just kind of let Danielle be the expert and speak for all women everywhere. Perfect. And tell us men what women want in the dating realm. And so that's what we're going to get into when we get back from this break. And we're just going to explore. We just going to let her rip. You know, us as guys, we have our own opinions, but we promise that we just want to listen. We just want to be open and just listen, and that's what we want to do. So,
I got my notepad. I'm ready to go.
He's got a notepad. Jason's ready. He's got his hat backwards. He's ready to go. He's built for speed right now. He's built for speed. He's aerodynamic. So we're gonna hit this break, and when we'll be right back, we're gonna talk about, or we're gonna listen to, we're gonna explore, open up Pandora's box of what women want in today's dating world. So, Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC. We will be right back. Boom. Oh, yeah.
All right. Do you have any questions we should stay away from?
I'm trying to threatening my kids. I'm just hoping that they were being quiet enough. I've been sending text threats to them.
Behind the scenes death threat. That's how we do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm willing to go there, but, you know, if I get in trouble,
I know you. Yeah, you. That's why you agreed to talk to you, because you wide open. You keep it real.
Yeah, I feel like you got to just keep being you to, you know, attract who you're going to attract, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard to be you, especially when you're weird. Like, I'm weird, you know?
Well, are we all? Aren't we all?
I don't know.
Some more than others. We all think we're the weirdest, but it is what it is.
Hold on one second. I'm going to yell. Guys, get outside and stay out there. We can hear every sound. I just yelled at my mom.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
All right, go, Jake.
And we're back.
We're
Welcome back to
back.
Madman Show.
That's right. Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC 12:20 a.m. in the
20
Mile High City on the interwebs,
everywhere.
everywhere.
Come and find us.
MadmenRadio.com. I mean, all the podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook. You can see what we look like. We always put the guests in the middle, so we got like a ugly Oreo here. Me and Jason are like on the outside and on the screen here, and
You got
then
the sweet cream filling.
we got the
Danielle.
sweet green filling. She's Although if you watch us online, you get to hear us yelling at our kids during the break.
That was
Uh,
awesome. That was awesome.
so,
See,
all right,
I think you need
let's
to
go.
incorporate that in Parker Social. Little kids yelling.
Yeah,
This is what
little
real
kid
life is
yelling,
about. That's what you're gonna
little
get.
kid
That's what
yelling
you're gonna
here.
get.
That's why I'm good
So
at
we're
it.
gonna get into this thing. We are unpacking and exploring in the world of dating, especially in this, as we record this 2025 in the digital world, with analog emotions and feelings. We're going to unpack and we're going to hear from the woman that's been voted by us to speak for all women everywhere. I don't know if you got a list or if you got it in your mind, you got it in your heart, but what kind of things, and we're just going to ask probing questions. How about that? We'll let you go. We'll ask probing questions, but we'll let you paint the picture of what kind of things are women looking for. And we grown folks. I mean, all of us are around the same age. I'm a couple years older than both of y'all. You two are the same age. So us as grown folks, Danielle, what kind of stuff, what kind of things are women in today's world looking for from men?
Well, I'm going to speak for myself and my group of friends that have somehow decided to, be my friends. I know I'm going to get hate for some of this, but I'm still
Of
just going to.
course. Welcome to welcome to us.
All
We
right.
get it too.
Speaking the truth. Welcome to Speaking Truth Online. You're gonna get hate, but you know what? That's how you know you're speaking the truth.
Yes, you step out and you get hated, and that's okay. You got to just, toughen up, and that's, where I'm at. So,
Yep.
yeah. So first of all, I want to also acknowledge, I feel like this is a personal thing, my own personal view here. I feel like there's been a war on men. And so I like to tread very delicately with men. I appreciate you. I might even get choked up if I keep going. I love men. You're so important to us. You're important to our society. I am getting emotional. We need you as dads, and we need you as stepdads, and we need you as grandfathers. We need you as brothers and friends and boyfriends. And, you add so much to our lives. And so much of that I feel like is taken for granted. And you don't get the credit and the honor and the respect that you're due. There are lover girls out there like myself that really do love men, and men that stand for the good parts of life, and I just really appreciate that. So I just feel like you guys have to do certain things that we're all programmed that men have to do, and then you have to deal with kind of some hate coming from all around you. And then expectation. You have a ton of expectation on you. And so then when you put on top of that a good portion of women that literally hate you, they hate you. Like, I don't know how you guys are doing it. I said, how do you put up with us? I don't understand, because I get in these girl groups and they are just going off. I was in one group, even the men were going off. They were talking about a guy who had a profile picture up with his fish because he caught a fish, and that was his profile. And they were talking about men with fish on their profile picture, and they were just destroying this guy. I don't know the guy. I just commented, I had to pipe up and I said, look, when I see a profile picture of a dude with a fish, like, that says to me he's a provider. I'm all about that. Like, bring me the fish, Mm-hmm. Even the men were bagging on my comments and saying like, oh, he's just, it's a sizist issue. And, oh, it's, no one fishes anymore. And I just thought, like, these are skills. So I will say for myself, I'll speak for some of my friends, I like men that have skills. The men that whether their own fathers or mothers taught them, or friends or whomever, a guy that can go fishing, even if he doesn't catch anything, he knows how to. I can't take a fish off a hook. Like, that's horrifying. My heart beats so fast with the fish. But men that have skills, that's amazing. A guy that can fix something, or, could change the oil or mow the lawn or know how to work the edger. I don't know how to do that. I have lawn stuff in my garage. I don't even know how to turn it on. It's just sitting there. So, like, skills, old school. I'm Gen X also. So what do we want? We want men with skills. So,
And so you're talking about like life skills. You're talking about like practical, can do stuff kind of skills.
yes, like things that bring value to life and things that I want to appreciate in a man. I want to appreciate a man that can go to Alaska, for 4 or 5 days and come back with a bunch of fish, or go on an elk hunt and come home with some meat. Like, let's do that, like, let's go. So I think that's really important. At the same time, and I know we're not talking about women, but I think it's important for women to have skills too, whether they're knitting or crocheting. And I know those are feminized, skills, or cooking, or, organizing. There's millions of things we as humans like to do and enjoy. But in this day and age, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of that. And we need to find that again. I feel like 2020 kind of, like, I took piano lessons in 2020. So I was playing piano, a lot of people did that, right? I don't know. It's just, I think that's just gets glossed over,
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, and maybe you can start teaching ladies during Parker social events that when you want a man with skills, which, I mean, most guys, especially nowadays, if they're single and they're in our age group, they have skills. Obviously, they know how to cook or at least get food. They know how to provide for themselves. They know how to work. They know how to do these things. But it's about, like you were saying before, the appreciation factor. So many guys have gotten to the point now where it's like, okay, well, I can survive on my own. And I have my guy friends around me, so we can go out and play golf and go hunting and go do whatever. So I have social group. I can do all these things. So what are you adding? And I think a lot of times, and I know in my experience has been the same, where a lot of times we hear, from the ladies, what are you bringing? What are you adding? It's all about me. And we don't hear a lot about, the ladies' skills. Like, what are you bringing to the table? What are you adding to the man? And I think sometimes when we hear those things from ladies, we don't hear from my experience, I'll speak for me, is what I hear a lot is that superficial stuff. It's not like, I'm a woman, I'm going to bring nurturing and caring and loving and all the feminine traits. What I hear is, what do you make and what's your job? And, what do you bring to the table? And, what about me and what presents you buy? And so we see a lot of that. So when you come down to the skill set, a lot of guys have, maybe there have been with nice guy syndrome and, everything getting to, you can order everything online. So maybe a lot of guys have lost some of those skills, but, to the point of somebody showing, going with a fishing picture and holding up a fish, obviously that dude knows how to fish. He can at least catch you a fish. There's a skill there, give him some appreciation and some love about that skill set.
I think it's a valid point though, to want a man with skills, because by default, a man with skills is doing something.
Yes.
He's active. He has something. He's in motion. Yeah. And objects in motion tend to stay in motion. He's in motion. He's not sitting on the couch eating flaming hot Cheetos and watching reality TV for a whole life. He's not sitting around just numbing his brain on a screen. I mean, you're talking skills of somebody that can do something, but so I think it's a valid desire for women to want a man that's in motion. Absolutely. Wanting a man that's doing something. There's the common joke that, the best way to, I just saw this little cartoon of they couldn't bring a woman back to life. And they said, is she married? And, they said, yeah. And then they said, oh, look, her husband's sitting on the couch doing nothing. And then she woke up and was like, hey, babe, can you? And so it's like, it's something that's desirable in a man for a woman to see him in action doing something. So yeah. I think that's a valid point.
I was just saying the other day, seeing a man, I don't even know what he looks like. I drive by, I see a guy, he's working on the lawn. It's a Saturday morning and he's like sweeping his grass clippings, and that's hot. That is sexy. Mm-hmm. I want to see a man working on his yard, being proud of his grass, trying to figure out why that one section's still brown and the other one's more green. I love that. He's inside, he's trying to figure out the Kentucky bluegrass and the seed and the time of year. And that's hot. Like, that's hot. So anyway, I guess that goes with the skill set thing, but it's exactly a man in motion and doing fun things. Like, we want to do fun stuff. I don't want to sit at home. Like I said, probably a lot of women do like to sit at home, but I want to go out, I want to go roller skating. I want to go dancing. Oh my God. Do you dance? This is a big thing, especially for me lately, because I've been really having fun dancing. Do you dance? Do you take your girl to a wedding and then don't dance with her? Do you know what I mean? If she wants to dance, are you going to get up and dance? Or you say, oh, I got to drink 5 more beers to be able to dance? Or can you just go and dance and let her dance and just stand there? We want a man that takes us to the dance floor happily.
So does he have to be good at dancing, or just like willing to get out there to have fun?
Just willing. All we want is a willing participant. He shows up and he's in motion. Come on, baby, let's go. Oh my God. Yes. I love it.
You all right? You need a minute? I mean, you need us to go to early break. Look like you having a moment over there and think about a man in motion.
Appreciate that. Yes. I actually do. Yeah, that's it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a great point because we see a lot, and there's so many memes. Even Kirk was talking about the one where the guy's sitting on the couch now, the wife's all over him. But we see those things. I saw one where a guy figured out when he turns on his Xbox, it makes that noise. He can't get his wife's attention, or can't get his girl's attention, can't get her to pay attention. Also, he's like, bring. Also, she's like, what are you doing? Same sort of thing. Women want to see guys in motion. They want a guy with skills, and they love to see you with those skills, utilizing those skills. So it's part of that provider protector thing.
Yeah.
So we got skills, we got movement. What else are girls looking for? What else are ladies looking for out in the dating scene that you've noticed?
Well, I'm speaking for myself and my girlfriends. We want our alphas back. We want our alphas. Now, I know we got the whole component and the structure of the yin and the yang and the feminine, the masculine, but oh my God, do we want masculine men back? I don't want to be the dude in the relationship, like gross. Sorry, but I want to be a feminine woman. And when you're holding the door open for me, and I a friend of mine, every time we would go to lunch, he would say, never open the door. Just please, just stand there and let me do it. And if you get there before me, just let me do it. He had to lay it down because I'd never know if a guy's going to hold the door or not. And I love that. Like, and I'm not saying, you got to open my car door and put the napkin on me. I'm just saying, like, you treat me like the lady and you're going to give me that space to be the lady. And then I'm going to give you that space to be the man. We want that back. We love that. A man that we know if he had to fight, he would fight. He's not going to run and leave me standing there like, oh, I'm going to fight now. But then on the other hand, we don't need road rage. I'm not saying like we don't want raging man, but an alpha strong man that blocks the wind, kind of eases things a little bit, makes you feel like a lady. That really is the only thing that is going to allow us to be ladies,
Well, I love that. And we'll definitely get into that because you hit on a point after this break that we need to talk about because, we know ladies want the masculine men back, but we also need ladies to know they need to be feminine for that man to be masculine. So we'll be right back. We are the Mad Men of Masculinity. This is KLDC. We'll see you in a minute. Boom. Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Am I doing okay or am I getting crazy?
No, you're doing good. You're doing good.
No, that's amazing. Like seriously, and again, it is. We do want to just listen. We do want to just kind of receive and just hear and all that. And it's it's good. I mean, first of all, just your honesty and candor in terms of recognizing where men are in the way we view them in our society. But then on top of that, just these are the things, and these are the things that women want, that women find attractive. And I think it's great. But yeah, I mean, definitely, from our perspective, the challenge is to just sit back and listen. Just sit back and listen to you. And I think women just want to be heard, maybe. And so I think it's important to even demonstrate here and now, and we're able to just listen. So yeah, this is amazing.
Okay, good.
Well, we'll go back and we'll practice our listening skills. I'll ask you a question and we'll dig into that.
Okay.
And we're back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. Jason B. Kendrick, Kirk M. Samuels, the Mad Men of Masculinity. We have the one and only Danielle Hunt on the line. I mean, she's our friend. She's our sister. She's cool people. She's cool as the other side of the pillow. If you run into her out in the streets, you're going to have a good time. You're going to have a good conversation. We love your energy. We love who you are and all that kind of thing. Hey, you can cook. By the way, wait a minute. I didn't want to, hold up. This girl can cook, by the way. I mean, she looks like a little suburban chick, and she's from California, Southern California. This girl can cook, man. I mean, she can throw down in the kitchen like a whole lot of people that I have not met before. I mean, she can. I mean, you talking about frying some chicken. You talking about making some cakes and pies.
How many birthday cakes of hers have you had?
Lord have mercy. She made my 50th birthday cake.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Nutella cake. I mean, she made that. I mean, man, we didn't. Lord have mercy. I done had so much of this girl's food. It is so good. You are way overdue for some more key lime pies, by the way.
Oh,
We're waiting on that next batch.
okay.
Anyhow, I sorry, I had a little moment. Sorry, I needed to get that out of my
You
Yeah,
said
but
let that
no,
sizzle in my spirit.
that time you came
Danielle's
over,
But,
you had
oh
some of
yeah,
my fried
no,
chicken.
no,
yeah, that
Danielle's
was some good.
multi-talented. Not only is
Yeah,
she, an amazing cook, but then
Thank
she's an
yeah,
amazing event planner. If you're in
Oh,
the South Denver area, even if you're not, go down south, go see Danielle, go see Parker Social.
yeah.
I mean, if you guys are up in northern Denver, Thornton, Westminster area, man, take a trip. You
Yeah.
might find what you need just on the other side of town. You never know. Danielle will set you
No
up.
doubt. No doubt. I mean, if you got a wedding or something coming up this summer, you need a bomb cake. I mean, just trust
Mhm.
and believe what I'm trying to tell y'all out here. You can mess with me if you want to. What I'm trying to tell you is holla at your girl and she gonna set you straight, man. I mean, don't sleep, man. Don't sleep. She can put her foot up in it, like we used to say. Anyhow, we talking about what women want in today's kind of dating relationship environment. And right before we went to a break, you brought up, man, you it's like when somebody hit that funny bone right in the elbow, and it's like, yeah,
She hit the
that
nail on
one.
the head.
let's
The
go.
whole idea of men being masculine
Oh,
so that
good.
women can be feminine. And so I'm hoping that you can kind of make some sense to the concept that us being masculine allows women, especially modern women today, allows you all to be feminine. I mean, can you unpack that for a second? Just it allows you. You said kind of block some of the wind from you and all. I mean, use that kind of imagery. That's pretty powerful.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to go first, right? Like Jason saying, well, if you want us to be masculine, you got to be feminine. Okay, we could go back and forth with that all day long. We're not going to do that. No, I'm going to just try to step in all my time and be feminine. There's times when I have to, shake things up and I'm not going to be as feminine. I think you heard that on the commercial break. But I'm just saying, for the most part, I want to step into that feminine person that I am, and I want to embrace that, And so I'm going to just do that. And then I'm going to see what comes at me in life, And if I meet a man in person and he's, on the more feminine side, that's not going to be my guy. I know that. And so it's a nice way also to know what's a match and what's not. But as I'm being feminine, and a guy's holding the door for me, I'm going to show my appreciation for that. Like, I'll say to a stranger, thank you. It's nice to have a gentleman around. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if he's a gentleman, but he was a gentleman to me. So I'm going to make a comment. I try to put that out when I'm out in the world. I try to do feminine things I enjoy, like cooking and baking. And I also love playing golf, but I also want to support men being men. So when my man is going to go on a golf outing all day, and I know it's going to be gone all day, and he might drink, he might not, he's going to be with the boys, like, I'm going to support that. Like, go get it all out of your system and get sweaty, get gross, and do your thing, and come back to me and I'm gonna have dinner ready, like, I love that. I love when men can, in a healthy way, get together and do that kind of stuff. I think that's great. So a part of being feminine is also supporting them being masculine, doing things that they need to do. If he's a runner, I'm going to encourage him to run. Whatever it is he's doing is, healthy. Not talking toxic, of course, but I'm going to see what's important to him. And in my former marriage, he used to love to run, and I hate running. And I decided one day, no, I'm going to learn to run and just run with him. And I remember the first time I did, like, I was dying, but he put his arm around me while we were running, had his arm around me, pulled me close. Like, I can't believe you're doing this with me. It just touched me. Like, he just seemed genuinely so happy that I was running with him. And I was hating every minute of it, but I was doing it. And I was like, this is amazing. I'm speaking his language right now. And I hadn't spoken that before, So I think no matter what stage you're at in any relationship, you could speak someone's language, right? So, but I think that pays off in the end. I didn't do that to receive. I just did that to lift him up, right? So that's another part of it, I think.
Yeah.
So how does a man go ahead?
You said something earlier, which I think is a great point, and it's a matter of if you're in your feminine and you want a masculine man, when he says don't touch the door, like allow him to do those things. And men will tell you those things, especially if you want a masculine man. If you're in your feminine, I think a lot of times what kind of gets in the way is that a lot of ladies now have gotten masculinized because the single moms are running businesses or having to be in their masculinity. Like you said, sometimes I got to take care of business, so I'm not going to be feminine.
Right.
And so when you want that, and it goes back to that whole polarity thing, like we all have to take personal responsibility. Me as a man, I got to be like, no, I'm getting the door, you sit there, or I'm doing this, I'm making dinner, or I'm going hunting and I'm going to bring it back, and I'm going to do these masculine things so you can be the feminine. And I think sometimes we get lost in that mix of masculine and feminine energy and going to work and whatnot, but we got to take personal responsibility. You want a masculine man, be a feminine woman so he can be the masculine. And I think a lot of guys are just kind of lost in they've kind of given up on trying to be masculine because there's so many women out there who have forgot to be feminine, and so they're they're kind of lost in the thing. But to your point, we each need to take personal responsibility. Like, what do I want? I want a feminine woman. That means I need to be a masculine man. What does that look like? Well, it's gonna be different with each relationship, but the basis is there. Like, I want to be a leader and provider. That means doing certain things, being protective, walk on the outside of the sidewalk, open the door, doing these gentlemanly things.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't like it, she's not a match. She's too masculine. That's fine. But you can't find that out online.
Yeah. And we don't have to hate the other person. We can just say you're not a match. It's not like, oh, he's this, he's that. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of taking that right and wrong out of it and just saying that's not a match to me. Right. So I think that's important too, because there's a big portion of people out there that are hating their exes, and they're hating them to the point where it interferes with any relationship that they have. A lot of people are not ready to be on the market, and they're back on the market, and they have no business being there. Take the time after a relationship, heal yourself, cry, get it out of your system. And then when you wake up one day and you're like, okay, I think I'm ready to move on. That's when like, it's just not fair to other people. Men and women, we do it to each other,
Yeah.
Humanity does.
So I have a tough question, and I don't even know if we'll be able to get through the answer to this question in this segment. But one of the themes that has just come up in the last couple minutes in terms of men being masculine is men taking the lead, right? And so part of taking the lead as a man and being masculine to women is some level of being assertive, right? So my question to you, Danielle, is how does a man today in the dating world, how does he be assertive without coming across as dominant in terms of, taking the lead? If he wants to, grab your hand, or if he wants to, lean in for a kiss, or he wants, any of those kind of things that's assertive, but at the same time, it can quickly turn to, him getting Me Too because, or from a guy perspective, like, I don't want to be Me Too guy. So he's thinking, well, maybe I'll take the slower road, when at the same time, you all might be like, come on, man, come get this, or it's warm, I mean, the dinner's ready, come get this thing. So how does a guy walk that fine line between being a leader, being masculine, being assertive, but at the same time, not coming across as being domineering?
That's a really good question, because a lot of that has to do, in my opinion, with generational thinking and culture. Back when we were kids, there was a lot of stuff on TV that you would not see now, and women slapping a man, or, a lot of physical abuse, or what they would call now sexual abuse. And I'm not undermining that at all. But there is a whole thing, like, you need consent for everything. And if, you're going to live without getting consent, you're going to get burned, because that's not how we operate anymore. Back in the day we did, but we don't anymore, So these are really valid questions. And I think, like, just, really starting to pay attention, reading up on sexual assault and what women see as sexual assault. And it's a gamut now, not laughing. Sorry. I'm just saying it's a whole lot of issue there. And when you're touching someone, whether it is grabbing their hand, we could go on and on there. Interestingly, I will say, with my country dance class that I'm taking, I found it super interesting, because I'm a follow as the lady, and I have a lead who's the man in, this dancing setting. And he has one hand placed on my shoulder blade and the other hand, out here. And, it's a form, and you're taking form, and you have, certain things that you're going to do. And there's certain things that the lead is going to do, and the follow is going to do. And they blend, you're not doing the exact same thing. And he has to let you know when you're going to turn by the way he's touching your hand. And if there's people behind him and he's going backwards, I have to let him know by, squeezing his shoulder or whatever. So there's nonverbal ways that, you learn to communicate as a follow and as a lead that I think is really valuable, that a lot of people don't, no one's really thinking about, just me. And I'm sitting in my head and my overthinkingness, but it was super interesting. So I feel like there's a lot of nuance going on. But there's a lot to be said for dance lessons too, because I've been told by 3 different partners now, you're the follow, stop leading. Like, oh, okay. I didn't know I was leading, but I wanted to get dipped, so I wanted to get dipped. So I was trying to, make it happen. Yeah. No, apparently I have to wait for him to dip me. So, it's a whole learning process,
Yeah, that's part of that whole, the women being feminine and following the lead and stuff, which so many women nowadays are leaders. And it's got to be hard to like retrain your brain. Even for guys now, they've gotten so trained into following the ladies because, single moms raise them and they're like, oh, well, she's the lead. Mom was the lead. And I think one of those things too that we run into, especially nowadays when it comes to dating, a lot of that comes down to, does she find you attractive? Because if a woman finds you attractive, you can do a lot more and get away with a lot more than if she thinks you're not attractive, then you're just a creep. And so we always, we even did an episode where we might have to come back and do it again, but about turn the light on, like give us a smile, especially nowadays in the Me Too movement area, post Me Too movement area, all stuff. It's so scary for a guy. We already don't want to get rejected, but it's also, we don't want to get Me Too'd or canceled or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, give us a smile, give us had something to be like, okay, approach.
Yeah.
Because it was scary before. Nowadays, it's really scary because we don't know. We might go to jail for come up trying to talk to you and ask you to dance if you don't like us. So, and we'll get more into that after this break. So we are the Mad Men. That's Danielle Hunt, and we'll be right back. Perfect. We'll let him get his barks out.
My freaking dog, I swear. And I cannot believe I just said that about sexual assault and all that. You might want to edit that out.
No, that's very valid. That's very valid. If somebody misunderstood what you were saying, that's their problem, because you were pretty clear. I thought you weren't downplaying, the essay factor, but at the same time, that is, something that is very real in the mix. So I don't think like I said, if somebody has a problem, that's their problem.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Is why it's so good to be in person, so you can feel the energy, you can feel the attraction. Because so many people spend so much time online, they don't know social cues anymore. They don't understand body language anymore. And maybe we should talk about that a little bit, because it's like, guys don't want to get in trouble for approaching a woman, but then again, they've lost the ability to read body cues, and that. She's smiling and looking me in the eye, so maybe she wants me to approach, or she's looking away and turning her shoulder, but I'm still approaching. So we can talk about
that begs a great question here. Coming back, I got a good one right into that.
Okay.
All right. We're back. We are back. We welcome back, like Cotter. Welcome back. We are back. I used to like Horseshack. It was Vinny Barbarino.
Vinny Barbarino.
And Washington. I used to like Horseshack though. That was a joint. Anyhow, we digress as usual. Mr. Carter. If you know anything about us, we have a tendency to squirrel. But so we're talking about what women want in the dating scene, what women like, all those kinds of things. My next question is, how does a guy know if a woman is interested in him? Mm-hmm. What kind of things that you all consider to be obvious that I'm giving him the green light, that we are like colorblind to the green light? Like, we are colorblind. We don't see the color lights. So what are the things that women do to let a guy know that she's interested in him, whether it be across a table, across a restaurant, across whatever it is, in the same room, at a grocery line, wherever it is, at the gym, all these other kind of places? What kind of things do women do that let a guy know that she's interested in him?
This is a great question, because I think there's a lot of women that give mixed messages, and that leaves you guys just like, what, on top of that, then there's ghosting, which is like a whole new thing, because we didn't ghost back in the day. We didn't have phones, so we had phones with an answer machine. We just didn't leave a message. Like, this whole ghosting thing is new, and it's so easy. I mean, I've done it. It's horrible. I'm working on that. It's easy though. But how do you know if you like someone? That's tough. Some women are in their masculine and they're coming on so strong, and you're going to know it, and you're going to be pushing them back because probably getting repelled by that factor. And, that's only making them come at you more, but I feel like depending on the woman, you got to read the room, right? And how is she responding? Is she smiling? Is she receptive? Is the eye contact there? I think eye contact's huge. Like, if I'm realizing I'm like with someone I feel creepy, I'm like instantly not shutting the eye contact down right away. And then at the same time, like, is she just being friendly or is she being flirty? You have to kind of stick around and figure that out. Maybe she doesn't know. Maybe she's trying to figure that out, So there's a lot of unknowns, and that can be really fun. If you lean into that can be super fun. I love getting new guy friends, because guy friends they're super fun. And I just met a new one recently, and I told him, like, we're not going to date because then I'm never going to hate you, and I'm excited about that. So, and then we joke about it, but, it's nice to have guy friends, but, as the guy, you're like, well, does she think I'm a friend or more? So, you make a move like, hey, you want to go you want to go dancing, you just have to, I think, go old school, ask some of those soft questions, feel that energy, start to read energy, and, dealing with the women that are coming on too strong, that's a whole nother issue in itself. Someone in my group, Parker Social, came at me today with some texts, some screenshots, and it was like, wow, he is literally not into her, and she is coming after him. And I thought he was making it clear. If I was receiving that, I would be like, okay. But sometimes you don't see that because you're all excited and you're excited about the person, so that it goes both ways, really, but being able to read someone and control yourself, like, oh, this guy is not into me, I need to chill. We go through that stuff too. How am I going to know if the guy is into me? What if he's into some of me, but not all of me, like, these are things we have to navigate too, so I think these are great questions. We got to trial and error, I think,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's why I love that you do Parker Social, that you have an in-person event, you put events on, because so many of us have gotten out of practice of social cues and understanding what this, body language means. And, for most guys, you just have to know if she's facing you, if she's looking at you, if she's leaning towards you, if she's interested. If she's looking away, if her body's turned away from you, she's not interested. I mean, it's that simple. And sometimes that can change, because there have been many times where the first comment, the first joke comes off as they didn't get it. So they turn away and they're like, but then you keep talking. And then later on, like, oh, you're not so bad. That was just a misstep or whatever. But the fact that you put on in-person events, and it's not, meeting people nowadays, you pretty much are always going to meet somebody online, but getting out in person so you can have these interactions. And then so many of us just need to practice. We just need to get out around people again, have conversations again, and just learn how this works again, because online is just ruining our social interaction skills.
Yeah. And practice is huge. I even told my one girlfriend, she's friends with this guy, and he's not a good match for her, but he's fun. And so I said, just use it for practice. I don't mean use him, but I mean, be around him, have some fun, flirt, go out with him. It doesn't mean you're getting married, just relate, learn to relate. And it's a learning process. I'm still learning too, like, you get to know, whoa, I shouldn't have crossed that line. Well, I shouldn't have said that, or God, I wish I would have said more, and then next time you get in a whole nother opportunity, try something different, as long as you're being authentic, right? I don't know. I think it's good for all of us whether we're looking for a relationship or not. It's always good to be talking and relating with other humans. Like, we need it, but I think this is an interesting subject, and we should probably talk about sex a little bit. Don't you think?
Ooh.
Okay. Since you broached the subject.
So I'll tell you what women want.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Let me get my notepad. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, don't leave us hanging. What they want.
I'm just saying that a lot of people are just quick to jump in the sack these days. It's very normalized now. I think giving things some time and not doing that is really fun. You get to know someone, you get to kind of stretch that time period out where you're not super comfortable with them. It's kind of awkward and you're shaking and it's exciting and you're like, oh my God. And it's, if you lean into that time, which is so often skipped, it can really give great things later, or it'll cut that off. So you don't do that with that person. And you're like, God, thank God I didn't do that. I mean, it's kind of a win-win, but it's a little like subsection of relationships and dating that kind of just gets ignored and skipped. And I think there's nothing sexier than a man that, honors his sexuality and honors his body and doesn't just give it out to everyone and then expects me to do this or that. Like, I'm sorry, I don't do that, like, I don't know. And it's a culture thing. So this one, people might not agree with me, and that's okay. But there are men out there and women that don't just jump in the rack and enjoy that period, So I think that's something that men should be talking about too. It's very sexy.
So maybe on one hand, in terms of the approach, maybe on one hand, men shouldn't be afraid of rejection, such that they can walk across the room and introduce themselves with some level of confidence and say hi and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I have been out with a friend recently. My wife and I ran into some friends out in town one evening, and we were sitting at a table, and some guy just kind of walked over and said, "Excuse me, I want to talk to this young lady sitting next to you." And and he leaned in, and he kind of said, "Hey, I don't really know exactly what he said, but the person, I won't say her name, Danielle, that was sitting there, I mean, he just did the approach. He was fairly confident to just do that and not be afraid of rejection. But then also, it sounds like you're saying, at the same, and I obviously have no idea where that went, but at the same time, you're. Well, I wasn't going to say nothing. I was trying to. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to let that marinate, let that sizzle in your spirit a little bit. But at the same time, it sounds like you also saying have the confidence to not give away all the cookies, to not be outcome driven in terms of I'm coming to say hi and introduce myself to this woman so that we can have sex.
Yes.
I mean, those two things can be true at the same time. I can be confident enough to come up and say hi. I can also be confident enough to develop something with you and not feel like I need to close the deal as soon as possible.
Yes.
Well, that brings up a great point too, because I think nowadays with the hookup culture and Tinder and all these online dating where people are just meeting each other and jumping straight in the sack, we've lost a lot of the courting. We've lost a lot of that anticipation, the build up and things like that. And you can speak on this, Danielle, but I've seen it and I've heard it from other ladies that there's nothing sexier than a man who, controls that period where he's like, I'm not just going to take you to bed. I'm going to tell you no, even if you're raring to go. I'm going to control that space and hold that container to build that up because I want to have that build up. Whereas most people nowadays, like you said, they just go hitting straight to the bedroom instead of having that build up, which makes it so much more enjoyable in the long run.
Well, they say the fourth date is the average time that they do that. People do that. So
is that a good thing for a guy to do? I mean, do women want that? Do they want a guy to be confident and also be able to hold that container to kind of do that build up?
Think about that. Like if a guy's coming on to me on date one, super strong, all I'm thinking is like, he's like this with everyone. Why? I'm not playing this game, and that turns me off completely. Like, get to know me a little bit, and if he's not asking me questions about me and my life, then I'm not going to share. Like, he needs to ask, right? Why am I going to just come and narrate the date? Like, no, I'm going to ask about him, find out about him, and let him, see what he's made of. Is he even interested in anything about my life? Or are we just here for a different reason? And is this how he treats all the ladies? And, these thoughts go through your mind. Of course, everybody is special and we want to be treated special, and if there's a special man out there, show me that, don't just, what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think it's very much a turn on for a man, especially a man that can like just call you and be like, hey, let's go get a steak. And you're like, huh? Let's go grab a steak and go dancing. Let's go roller skating. Let's go do whatever. Like, that's fun. A guy that actually thinks that through and, calls and makes a reservation, and you don't have to, you're like, oh, this is fun. I get to just show up, These little things, I think it makes it super fun. And those little things also bring more excitement into the bedroom. So when that event does finally happen, you're like, this is going to be fun. You've gotten to know him better. You know some of his likes and dislikes, and, you kind of get a feel for his habits, his daily habits. Something one of the Parker Social members was telling me today is that he gets really angry women when he's single. He's dating multiple people. And he's very open about that, which I find that honesty in that department is super hot. And he says some women get mad at him when he doesn't send a good morning text. And I was saying, like, I literally was just yelling, like, I don't want another good morning text, because so many times, you'll get it like, good morning, beautiful. And my girlfriends show me theirs, and it's like, we're all getting the same good morning, beautiful text, I don't want that. Don't tell me good morning, beautiful, but, when some women want that, and then they're expecting you to do that. And then when you don't, they're going to get mad at you, and you didn't even really do anything wrong. You just didn't meet her expectation. That's not fair to you.
Yeah. Well, this is why you take the time to get to know each other, so if she wants a good morning text, or does she want you to bring home the elk and cook it on this grill? Hey, babe, I just killed this elk, and here, come have some elk steak, or here's the fish I just caught. Like, you got to hang out and find out. That's why getting in person, going to Parker Social, meeting in person, feeling the vibe, getting to know each other is a good way to do it. So, how can people find Parker Social? What's your next event? What are you doing? How can people come in and see you?
Well, parkersocial.com is where I post all the events. We also have the group on Facebook, just called Parker Social. There's a few copycatters out there, even though I trademarked the name. But anyway, ours is green at the top with 4-leaf clovers. Not for luck, but just because it happened to be in March when I started it 3 years ago. But anyway, Facebook, parkersocial.com. And, I don't have an event ready yet, but we're working on one. So it's going to drop soon. It'll be on both places, but I'd love to see both of you there. That would be great.
Yeah, let us know. Just give us the date. We could fit you on our calendar. We like you. You're one of ours.
Thank you.
You're one of our people.
Thank you. You're one of my people too. And it's probably going to be a dance lesson. Sorry, because that's what I'm into right now. So.
Right on. We'll get our boot scoot and boogie on. So.
Okay. That sounds good.
Until next time, we are the Madmen. Oh, absolutely. We'll have you back on. I mean, it's only been a year or 3 in the making, so we'll definitely get you back on. But we are the Madmen. That's Danielle Hunt from Parker Social, and we are out.